High pressure is covering New Zealand. Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us. The forecast for pretty much the rest of this month is leaning drier and warmer than average, but we've got a bit of rain in the forecast at the moment. We've got a few showers coming into the North Island with this southerly flow coming in around Wellington, Waited Upper and moving up the eastern side. It'll be gone by overnight tonight, and that cooler wind, that cooler southerly wind, will start to fade away. We saw some light frost and fog patches around some parts of the South Island this morning, thanks to that big high rolling on in. Let's take a look at the setup for Wednesday, and we've gone widescreen because there's not much happening in New Zealand. We are under a bubble of big high pressure. There is a big storm down here, 945 hectopascals, pushing up against 1032 hectopascals. That's a lot of air pressure gradient. If this was a topographical map, that would be like a cliff down a mountain. So there's a lot of wind at sea, and that's just going to brush the lower portion of the South Island in the next few days ahead, coupled with the subtropical flow going around that high. So we've got warmer weather coming our way. The other feature, another big high, even bigger one, out over Australia, which is also tracking in towards New Zealand before this month is done. So let's move through the week. We get into Thursday, and between these two highs, there's this vulnerable area in here. It hugs the eastern side of Australia and the Tasman Sea area. So there'll be plenty of rain forming around northern and eastern sides of Aussie right now, which is good news for them because it's been very dry lately. In New Zealand, it stays dry around the North Island. High pressure is still in charge. But further down into the South Island, you've got the storm in the Southern Ocean and the subtropical winds going around that high, moving in and lifting your temperatures up, but also bringing a bit of rain over there on the southern half of the west coast. By Friday, there isn't a great deal of change. Wet weather in the same place, high pressure still over the North Island, but now we've got low pressure forming out in the Tasman Sea. A few showers might brush Southland as well. And as we go in towards the weekend, Saturday sees that low deepening further in the Tasman, or at least getting larger in size. And there's another vulnerable area up here forming as well. But New Zealand looks mostly settled as we go into the weekend. Sunday, no real change either, other than a few light drizzly showers in the north and maybe a little bit of patchy rain developing on the west coast later in the day. Otherwise, fairly dry, fairly mild across New Zealand with rainmakers building at sea. And we get into next week and we see that low getting even deeper, 985. But I've got to remind you again, it's surrounded by high pressure, a big high to the west, a big high out to the east and the southeast. So that low is trapped, and it's likely to just drop southwards, the path of least resistance. So the North Island, while it's very close, may not end up getting a lot of rain. Please take a look at the latest news story we've got up at Weather Watch right now on our homepage. It covers off rainfall totals between now and the end of this month. So it's worth having a look at because to drill down locally, you might sort of get a better understanding. But there is not a lot of rain coming for northern New Zealand, maybe only 10 or 20 millimetres from that system in the form of showers. That's all from me. We'll update you again tomorrow with the latest.